In today's video, I'll be going over all of the green cards from Heroic Masquerade. Okay, I know I know that a lot of people have been waiting for this for a little while. Heroic Masquerade is a crazy powerful set. We've had a little bit of time now. I've been able to, more accurately get a feel for how good some of the cards are. Obviously, on a first impression, you're never going to be spot on. So let's go ahead and get started. First, we've got the Bird of Prey mask. This is boosting a green mask with a boost ability. When destroyed, this card enters your field. If it does, discard the top 5 cards of your deck, and this minion morphs into a green minion belonging to the mask class. And this is a mask and an item. That item synergy is actually relevant, as is the mask synergy. This card is very good. This is you probably run 2 copies of this in most of the lists I've seen. Being able to get your thing back, transform on your opponent's turn, or morph rather on your opponent's turn, can be really crazy. Like morphing into the 9-drop, resting their whole remaining board, or resting some of their forces, can completely fuck them over. This is a very powerful card. It's also a sort of protection on your turn if you get blocked and destroyed, or if you just get removed. This creates a lose-lose scenario for your opponent, where they are just going to have to let you transform one way or another, unless you're against some decks which, for example, could banish you or send you to base, or return you to hand. There are, of course, some exceptions. Okay, next we've got, and I apologise for the loading times that we're going to get here because Facebook is a piece of shit. Okay, next we've got Blazing Sword of Ancients. This is boosting any mask, also a mask item. Boost ability, when attacking, put one of your opponent's minions with a cost of 7 or lower in the rest state. This is pretty nice. It's not spectacular, it's just a good tool to have. If your opponent has like one thing on board, then this is really great. Boost it, swing your thing in, rest it. It is a bit, I think it's potentially better in the other mask decks though, because green has a plethora of ways at the higher costs to just rest something. So this is more in the scenarios where your opponent doesn't have much on board, ideally one thing, and you've got a lower cost one of your your green masks, which are not able to rest on attack, for example. So yeah, but it's definitely a solid card. Next, I believe the final base minion the mask deck has is... I'm going to sort out my internet issues. Yeah, hopefully that's fixed it, we'll find out. Next we've got the Sly Speedster, which is based when placed. If you have a minion belongs to the mask class on your field, increase your movement by 1. Boost ability on your turn. This minion can morph even if one of your minions has already morphed this turn. If this minion morphs and one of your minions has already morphed this turn, remove this boost and place 1 green mana in your base. And this boost any 2 cost or higher. Any 2 cost or higher, interestingly. So that, can be relevant. Anyway, this is like, again, fine. How often are you going to be double morphing? Actually, not that often. It's a good card. It's a good card. It's just increasing your movement by 1 is actually pretty nice in the early game. You can just ramp that much quicker. It's solid. The biggest issue with the mask decks just tend to be that they don't run that many base minions, so you can actually end up putting these, a lot of their really good cards will put these from deck into base, so you won't actually be getting that ability that often. But it's still obviously a very solid boost ability. I feel like I'm underselling the card a bit. It's a good card, is the point. Good God, my internet is garbage. Here we go, okay. Masked Ninja Terraform. On your turn, whenever this minion deals damage, it can morph into a green minion belonging to the mask class. That is the standard effect, so I'm going to skip over that from now on. On your turn, if this minion is in the rest deck, it cannot be selected as a target for your opponent's effects. This is obviously fantastic. They can only block. If they can't block it, you're getting your henshin off, you're getting your morph off or whatever. Good card is good. Next, we have got... Wow. What? Oh my god. Here we go. Right. Masked Ninja Thunderous form. On your turn, whenever this minion deals damage, it can morph into a green minion belonging to the Mask class. When morphed, place 1 green mana in your base. Again, staple card. I don't know why I read the first effect when I said I wasn't going to, but this is of course another staple card. Very, 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 very good to ramp. Very easy to just kind of immediately go into it. Then we've got Ignite form. When attacking and when morphed, put one of your opponent's minions with a cost of 3 or lower in the rest state. So obviously in the early game, this is pretty nice. And on your turn, this minion cannot be destroyed by your opponent's card effects. So it's actually very, very feasible for you to, actually, maybe not. Anyway, point is, this card's solid. Being able to rest 3 or less is pretty nice, especially against yellow. This skill is always relevant, and being able to do it, 2 times is pretty nice. And especially then if you start using your bike to give you an additional transformation, can be quite good. Okay, next we've got Masked Ninja Sharpshooter form. When summoned and when morphed, set your deck for a green base minion belong to the Mask class with the boost effect and place it in your base in the rest state, then shuffle your deck. So this is obviously ramp, but specific ramp, deck thinning. Good card is very, very good. This is a really, really common early transformation. Then we've got Masked Ninja Crash form. 5 cost with Pierce, and when morphed, this minion enters the active state. This is really, really solid because this is some really, really nice aggro, and the fact that it has Pierce means that it will be doing damage, which means it's a lot easier for you to morph this thing into something else. Very, very solid. Twin Strike. Main flash, put one of your opponent's minions or one of their forces in the rest state, and trash whenever one of your minions morphs. Return this card to your hand. This effect cannot stack. This card is ridiculous. Very good. I'm sure you've been on the receiving end of it, and it's going to win you games. Super strong. The fact that it adds itself back to hand just makes it so, so good. And then Aero Style Whirlwind Slash. Main flash, put all your opponent's minions with a 400 BP or low in the rest state. One super good card, one fucking garbage card. Balance in all things. Next, Masked Ninja Heavenly Quartet form. On your turn, when morphed, select up to 2 of your opponent's minions. If the targets are in the active state, they enter the rest state, and if the targets are in the rest state, they are in destroyed. And when summoned and when attacking, put one of your opponent's minions in the rest state. So, as you can imagine, this is very, very, very solid. Good removal. Yeah, I mean, it's totally generic, which is what makes it so powerful. You're not restricted by costs. You can just do what you want with it. As you can imagine, total staple. Super, super good. And finally, Pleiades form. When summoned and when morphed, select up to 3 minions and forces. If the targets are in the active state, they enter the rest state. If the targets are in the rest state, they enter the active state. This targets anything. Passive, whenever one of your opponent's minions or forces enters the rest state, this minion receives +1/+1. When attacking, put one of your opponent's minions or one of their forces in the rest state. The target cannot return to the active state until your next standby phase. So, as you might expect, green mask is pretty fucking good. I'm sure you've all experienced that by now on ladder. Pretty much all of this is essential for the deck, so it's a pretty easy deck to build, honestly. If you just open packs of this set and you just craft the older cards you need, there's not that many. It's really good, honestly. The deck is super fun, super powerful. It plays kind of like I say it's kind of like New Andros, right? Because in the sense that you are somewhat tempo focused. You don't want to fall behind, otherwise you're totally fucked. You can't let your opponent build a massive board of big scary stuff. You just want to kind of keep things relatively even until you start entering, turn 4-5 territory. Then you can start, you start hitting like 9 mana, that kind of period, pretty quickly. And once you're at 9 mana, you slap this down from your hand, or you transform into it, and it just starts building up and becoming really, really scary. And boosting this with the mask is a good idea, because then your opponent is shit scared to remove it. It's a good deck. Look forward to the showcase. And yeah, I guess as a summative thought, it's good. I don't know what to say. It's pretty good. Pretty much every card is good. Okay. I hope you guys enjoyed this video today. If you did, drop a like. Please comment your thoughts on any of these cards in the description below, or any content you'd like me to make. Check the links in the description and subscribe to the channel. Hit the red button. Would appreciate it, and I'll see you in tomorrow's video. Cheers.